Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center Live, our weekly Star Trek Weekly. Strangely enough, we are on episode 8 instead of episode 7 because, as most of you know, if you're a fan of the show, this past Saturday, right after I saw it live at Comic Con in Hall H, they released it 1 hour later to the general public, which is great because you guys got to see the episode without having to wait, and I can talk about that episode. So episode 7's already in the book, so we won't be doing a live stream of that one, obviously, but we will be doing a live stream tonight, episode 8, which is Under the Cloak of War. Next week is the musical episode. All right, and I've already told Vince, I'm telling everybody now, you will be singing along.
Oh, God.
You will be singing along. I want everybody who's watching with us. In fact, you know what? I may bring on people to sing with us, damn it. And the soundtrack, you can already download the soundtrack to it already, so there's no excuses. Oh, I don't know the words. I don't know the song. No, you can download it. You can go to StarTrek.com. You can go to the Strange New Worlds portion on there, and then you can download the soundtrack to it. So, we may. I'm not making any promises. Not putting it in stone yet. I got to clear up the pipes and see if anybody wants to. We're trying to gain viewers to these channels, so it may not be the best idea to have any of us singing, but it's a musical. Not everybody on that show can sing. I mean, Christina Chong can sing, and Uhura's the girl who plays Uhura, she's a songstress. But I know Rebecca Rodnick, she can't sing. Ethan Peck can't sing. I've heard him. I know. So hey, they can pull it off. Granted, they get paid and they've rehearsed it, and they probably had vocal coaches, which we won't. But it's a musical episode. The very first Star Trek musical. When I was sitting in Hall H, when they announced that, like Obi-Wan Kenobi when he was on the Millennium Falcon when Alderaan blew up, I felt old Trek fans' heads explode in unison when they made that announcement. I felt every undersized Star Trek shirt being ripped off. I felt toys and models and posters being ripped off and thrown against the walls. Old Trek fan must have shit rockets when he heard this announcement. We were sitting there because some of them were in the crowd with us. Because 6,000 people, you get a cross, and most of us were cheering it. But as we were coming out, you could see the look. You could see the old Trek fan in there. He's like, I can't believe that they're doing this. I'm like, why not? I am surprised that Star Trek had not in 57 years has not had a musical episode.
Oh well, they've already started with the that's good for Buffy, but it's not good for Star Trek and blah 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 blah.
Nobody's thought it was good for Buffy. I've done that episode. We do our Rocky Horror Picture Show. And we've actually had Once More Feeling where our Rocky Horror Picture Show cast actually did the musical, and we had Sweet all dressed up and everything. Listen. I remember them saying that was going to be a disaster when that came out. That's one of the most watched episodes in Buffy. That's a pretty popular series.
When we used to do our old live action role play for Vampire, we actually my little vampire group actually put on the Once More Feeling episode too, because it was Buffy and vampires and blah blah blah.
I have that episode memorized because we produced the show and I directed a version of it. So I have every syllable of that damn episode. And guess what? This next episode, it's going to be the same thing. And I'm going to shadow cast this one as well. We're going to do all kinds of live parties with this, man.
Dude, seriously, I can actually hear, like, right now, I can hear the songs from Once More with Feeling in my head. That's how
my goodness.
I have.
Going through the motions, wasting all my time. Oh. And like I said, I memorized it more than the people that were doing it because I had to watch the whole show a bunch of times. Like Sweet when he does his tapping, how you and then they are drawn to the fire, and we had a little fire engine that we had a little remote control and fly to. We had fun with that. So this episode is going to be the same thing. You're going to have a bunch of people saying this is ridiculous. This isn't Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry is going to be rolling in his head. No, he's not. Gene Roddenberry. There's no way in hell Gene Roddenberry wouldn't have been a guy to have fun.
Gene would have laughed about that episode. He would have laughed about it.
Dude, I mean, you have the current Star Trek is in the hands people like Frakes and all these other people that people vilify Alex Kurtzman. I'm sorry, we're not watching Trek on TV without these guys. So, and these are old Trek guys. I mean, we're talking about guys like Jonathan Frakes is 70. He's not a new guy. You don't think he respects the stuff that people are sailing when it comes to Strange New World and New Trek in general are being directed by the same guys that they just praised in Picard. All those guys are directing Star Trek now. And like I said, and you know how I feel about Lower Decks. It's not for me. However, if they were ever going to get me to give Lower Decks another shot, episode 7 did it. That was hilarious. And it wasn't over the top. I hear a lot of complaints about it, though, that they would never act that way. They're cartoons. They're cartoons, and they actually adjusted their attitudes to be humans. Boimler was believable as a human, and so was she. And they look just like, obviously their characters are modeled after them, but they looked and sounded, it was hilarious. The way they had her hair, the way it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
He's got the purple hair. I thought
it translated well. It translated well to them being to live action. You know what I'm saying? It translated well.
I thought so. And like I said, if I were ever going to, get back into that show, because like I said, it's not a horrible show. I just never connected with that show yet. But I've always left myself open to that show.
I do love it how they did how he made the comment. Why is everybody so quiet? Because it's always loud on Lower Decks. They're always over exaggerated versions of themselves. He's like, but they're also quiet here.
The Spock thing was cool. Like I said, it was kind of it wasn't the happiest episode all the time because they're keep on slipping up and telling these people what they might end up as. Like Chapel obviously understands that Spock is going to move on from her, which is fine. Obviously, you see them serving on the ship for years together, and all the way into the movies.
Yeah.
But I got to remind people. Go ahead, Vince. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I also loved how Mariner in live action still had her sleeves rolled up.
Yeah, which is totally against protocol. And did you see they all get promoted? And this next season, she's been promoted before. She keeps getting busted by her own mother. Her own mother keeps demoting her.
Yep.
And her dad's an admiral, and she has like no pull. But
I like when she's telling Uhura and her talking in Uhura's quarters, and she says, regulations, and she's like, well, yeah. That's because her mother's a captain and her dad's an admiral. I mean,
it's like,
she knows regulations, but
according to when you read her file, she's like she's actually very good at being in Starfleet. She just breaks a lot of rules and stuff, but
yeah.
But she's also, a young officer, so they they do stupid shit like that every now and then. But I think if it wasn't her, if the people in her command weren't her parents, I don't think she would get demoted because there's a lot of stupid shit you see through Star Trek that she's done that there's no way they get reprimanded. I mean, Geordi got reprimanded one time by Picard, and it didn't hurt his career. I mean, he didn't get demotion or anything. Nobody ever gets demoted in Starfleet except for her and Kirk. And Kirk never wanted to be promoted. Kirk was miserable as an admiral.
That was the Aquiel episode with Geordi, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when his mother was in there. He was trying to find his mother, and he disobeyed Kirk Geordi. Yeah, and he that's a he put a reprimand in his file. But in the normal or in our the modern day military, if you get some of those in your file, that's usually a hard thing to get over with. But obviously, Picard loves Geordi, so he would pull it out. But like if an admiral or a flag officer puts one in there, only somebody of that rank can take it out. And if they don't, your career's over.
The only time in Star Trek that I ever saw Jim Kirk want to be promoted was I actually rewatched Star Trek Beyond, the third Kelvin movie today, and he actually asked for promotion of Vice Admiral, and then decided against it afterwards. But that's the only time I've ever seen Jim Kirk want to be promoted to Admiral. Usually you got to promote him, against his, better judgment.
once he initially wanted it, but then once, like, if you look at Star Trek: The Motion Picture, he just realizes that's not what he wants. And in Star Trek 2, Kirk or Bones comes out and straight tell him, "You need to get yourself back in command, or before you really do get old." Because
Yeah.
Bones is telling him in IM1, hey, "What's this about? This isn't about Decker. This is about you wanting to go out in the stars again." And that's what he wanted. He didn't even realize that's what he wanted until he got promoted into Admiral, because he's Admiral all the way up until the end of Star Trek 4. And he's miserable, but he's always in command of the ship. At no point during Kirk's time as Admiral was he not directly in command of the ship, which is not what an Admiral is supposed to do. So he never wanted to be promoted. And I was always surprised that Picard got promoted, because remember in Generations, which is a horrible movie, he's like, don't let him promote you, never let him take you out of that chair. And I thought that was advice that Picard always took, but then Picard rose up into the ranks, and the only one I ever thought that really wanted to be promoted was Janeway.
Yeah.
And she shot up, she shot up quick. So hopefully, get to see her again. She should be a full-on Admiral if she's still in our Starfleet right now. So, all right, we're going to be starting it. Vince has put the link in the app if you want to go and watch it with us. We got 1 minute. We're going to be starting. We go through all the intros. We go through the recap. We start right at 12. So for most of you guys who will be watching this later on, that's where we start. As soon as clock strikes 12, we'll go ahead and hit the play button. So let me get it on. Here we go. Oh, actually, I don't need to press anything. I just realized I don't need to do anything. So 1 more minute, and we'll be going. Whew. 111 here today in Vegas. Next week is going to be 95. 95 degrees. 2 digits. Woohoo! Well, I wonder what the payoff for that is, though.
Yeah, I loved it. The payoff for that's going to be August, okay, for both of us.
Yeah, we had 103 the other day with like 70% humidity. So that was
yeah, they told us down here, Vince. Oh, well, last weekend you're going to get a cool front. The cool front only took us down to like 98.
Right.
All right, here we go, guys. Go ahead and hit it, Vince. Wow. Uh-oh.
Mm. And Banga knows him. You can tell by that look.
Yeah, he's having flashbacks now.
It's Jagal. He mentioned it before.
Wow.
It's also strange. He doesn't have an entourage.
This reminds me of the opening or Star Trek 6, the
Yeah.
K9 Ambassador.
I was about to say he reminds me of Gorkon.
The whole situation does. I still think the cartoon one was cool. They really did a good job with that last week.
Oh, dude. The space slug that's sucking on the engines on the
Yeah.
ship. That's something that they brought over from Lower Decks. Oh, and did you see the space koala?
Yeah. Yeah, at the end it kind of blended in. Yeah, I saw that.
That's
That
a
got it. The crowd cracked up when they saw that.
that's a Lower Decks thing. Yeah, Stella says no space slug. This isn't fair.
Yeah. The funny thing about Strange New World, you know who I found out that likes Strange New World not Strange New World, but loves Lower Decks more than anybody?
Who?
Old Trek fan loves that show. It's just a weird thing. All the old Trek fans that I ran into or that I know love Lower Decks. I don't understand it, you know? Whereas I'm like,
I love it, but then I was raised by old Trek fans, so. And what's really funny is my dad may have been old Trek fan, but he loved a lot of those like a lot of the new stuff that was coming out. He actually liked Discovery. I mean, he didn't survive to see all of it, but he actually liked Discovery.
here we go.
Oh, flashback. Oh, that's Ron Howard's brother, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Clint Howard.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Oh shit. Let him die.
Jesus, they worked for a MASH unit. Ugh.
Huh. He'll use that later for his daughter.
Yep. That's why he's having such PTSD. He worked for a MASH unit. Mm.
Pike's cooking again.
Oh, that was another complaint I've seen this week. Pike spent more time cooking than being captain.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
That can't be easy.
This is actually something that's done in the military too.
I know.
This is
I never had to do it, but in medical school, but I can imagine it's a hard thing to have to do.
this is the type of thing that a helicopter, like when you watch in the medevac, it's a helicopter instead of a transporter. So that's the relatability to it.
Yeah. Yep, I remember all my dad's stories from Vietnam.
Is he cooking? No, they didn't show him cooking. He's gonna give him a Vulcan neck pinch. Oh no! Oh wow!
What's this Andorian sneaking around doing?
He's getting with all the vets. All you vets, get out. Oh hell!
Do you think this Klingon's on the level, or do you think he's up to something?
I think he's on the level. Whenever they introduce things like this, they that's too easy for him to just be, But they could, I could be wrong.
I don't know. It just doesn't smell right to me.
Well, Gorkin, I didn't trust Gorkin either, and that was the whole
True.
thing. Because of the poster. That's the way they do it. Guess who's gonna die?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He killed him, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to. He had no choice. You're fighting the Klingon strength. Is that okay?
It was something on my side. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, what the hell?
Mm. 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 Oh, combat stems, which apparently he invented.
For those of you who thought that the show might have been getting too comedic, I think this might have solved that.
Yeah. That's more blood than I've ever seen in a Star Trek. Oh. Whoa. Joseph, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, Jesus.
Where did this show just go?
They lied.
Okay, what did I just miss here?
They lied.
Oh, Benga and her just lied about what just happened. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that episode. I mean, the one side of me understands, what war does to someone. But now, how do I think about Mabenga from this point on? I mean, obviously, we know that he makes it past all this because we see him in the pilot episode, which takes place after this. So I'm understanding of what him snapping, but just the two of them. I don't know. They just outright to save their ass. I mean, basically, it just I don't know. I gotta absorb this episode for a little bit. I have to. I don't know if I want to form an opinion yet.
I kind of understand why they gave us the Lower Decks episode early.
Yeah, this episode was kind of fucked up, but
Yeah, I'll be watching it again tomorrow. So yeah, I'm with you. I gotta think about that one.
like I said, it's very realistic. What just happened is very realistic in post PTSD. I mean, it's very realistic, and I guess it's just I'm not used to seeing that happen as far as Star Trek goes. But because, like I said, they stay away from the wars. Maybe that's the problem is because everybody wants Star Trek to be peaceful, colorful, and happy, but they don't realize that Starfleet has war in its history. And they've never truly reflected war on this level like this. This is a very China Beach Saving Private Ryan type of war. This was a war episode.
Yeah.
And what they went through is war. You see it going all the way back to Vietnam. You see it going back. You look at court martials that happened in Iraq. Soldiers and Marines that were killing civilians because they saw so many of there's on record. So this is not. I just don't know how I feel about it, given the relationship that he has with his captain. He just and Pike knows he's lying. Pike knows he's lying. So.
Yeah, and Pike let it go.
Yeah. We'll go ahead, like I said, we'll go ahead and we're gonna have to dive headfirst into to Star Trek Weekly. So on that note, for Stella, for Thade, for Vince, who finally fixed his mic. Woo!
Thanks for teaching me how to unmute it.
Because I learned that the hard way. We will see you guys on Friday. We'll have to think about this one. So a lot to talk about then. All right, guys. If you're watching this, hit like and subscribe, both Poindexter Lounge and the Sci-Fi Center. Mine is youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. Obviously, if you're on the Poindexter Lounge, like and subscribe there. And we will see you Friday.